So I was just they're having today movie day where you can watch movies for 10 shekels, which is very like quarter of the price. So I saw 2 movies. First one was Beautiful Boy. It takes place in America, California, between San Francisco and LA. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. I thought how beautiful America is. And then I'm just throwing it in. It's time to hear. And then I'm trying to focus. It was about the relationship between oh gosh, bookstores. A relationship between a boy and his father. This is a health food store. מה זה?
זה ונצואלה. זה פרו. זה מדגסקר.
וואו.
זה כל זן ממקום אחר בעולם. זה ממש במחיר טוב עכשיו, יש על זה 30%.
תגידי, אני לא נכון, יש שום כרגע, אבל רציתי לשאול לך את המחיר. תגידי לי את המחיר.
זה בדרך כלל 24.90 ועכשיו זה עולה 18.
מה זה שאני טועמת?
מה שאת טועמת זה ממרח שקדים עם מייפל. איזה קולות אתה מתאים לי פה.
לא, ממש שקדים. אלמונד בוטר, מייפל. מה זה? חמת בוטנים?
זה חמת בוטנים עם וניל אספרסו. וזה ממרח שקדים עם חלבה.
וואו, חלבה.
המחירים גם שבירים, אני גם קונה בחנות.
סבירים, ומה שיפה שזה באמת לגמרי טבעי ועד 4 מרכיבים.
אבל זה עם סוכר?
לא.
והשוקולד הזה?
השוקולד עם סוכר, זה בלי סוכר.
מה זה פה?
זה זן מאוד מיוחד שנקרא מרנון. זן שכמעט ואין אותו בעולם.
תוצרת ישראל?
כן, זה תוצרת ישראל.
הולי קקאו, וואו.
כן.
אני מדלקת על זה, נראה לי, שנייה. אני מתמקדת. ואני מפגרת. זה amazing.
בסדר, אני עליתי בשביל השירותים, וטוב שנזכרתי בך.
נחשוב על
אני הולך
זה.
לשירותים, אני אחשוב על אחד מאלה, ושוב, היום כנראה...
ממלאים.
זה מה יש שם במדף.
איפה הם? הם שם?
וואו.
כן?
Amazing. Holy cacao is really chocolate from around the world.
זה זכה בהרבה מאוד פרסים בעולם.
וואו.
כן.
זה משהו, אבל זה בלי סוכר?
זה בלי סוכר. תראי.
אז מה המתיקות שבזה?
את זה נגיד טעמת? מייפל?
בגלל מייפל.
יש לך 92 שקדים ישראלים, 7% מייפל אורגני.
וואו.
מלח הימאליה. זהו, 3 מרכיבים.
וואו.
המחיר המוצלח זה היה על הבוטנים, האחרים יותר יקרים משקדים.
כמה זמן זה המבצע?
לא יודעת.
תודה. ממש טעים.
מה המחירים האורגינליים להיום?
אני אחזור. זה בכל הסניפים שלכם? גם בדיזינגוף זה... גם בדיזינגוף מבצע. אני אסתכל, כן. תודה. Oh, that was quite an experience. I love this shop. It's, giving some... I love this shop. So they had this almond butter and holy cacao, Israeli chocolate was amazing. As a person who doesn't like, it's crazy, but I don't like Swiss chocolate, I have to admit. Or I don't know what is it about it. It's not that I'm patriotic, I don't know. So, the film A Beautiful Boy, what I thought about it. It was about the problem of addiction. And it's interesting, the other film I saw also talked about addiction. So I guess it's, addiction is a problem. So, So let me get out of here. Stuck in this shopping center and I don't know how to get out. I don't like shopping centers, by the way. So the movie Beautiful Boy, okay. So the movie Beautiful Boy was by the relationship between a father and a son, played very well, and the beautiful scenery, but somehow I got distracted from the story. What I found not really realistic or believable is that is the following, that the father and the mother divorced when the child was young, and then there was this amazing stepmother and she's supporting everything, and they have a second set of children, and yet there's no jealousy. And I'm like, this is so odd. Like the way the mother is so willing for the father to go chasing the addict son every time he relapses. Every time he goes back to drugs, the mother is like, okay. And then they get to the point where, well, you know, it just gets to be too much. And they go also to a support group. And I thought that's really important that they went to a support group. There was I definitely think this film offered something very important for people who are facing this problem. Just I don't understand it. It's a problem I can't relate to at all in any way, because I don't even take a painkiller for my broken hand, you know. I'm so afraid of any medication. I have this fear of medication because it doesn't affect me well, and I also don't like my mind to be influenced by things in this way. I like a very clear way. My mind is anyway kind of have a hard time focusing sometimes, and I really need to, the only drug I take is coffee, and I'm really afraid of medication. Wanted to say, sometimes I take this Indian root. It's supposed to have a lot of vitamins. And I wanted to tell you that, this is like, what is Times Square here? I haven't been here in ages. Especially with a broken hand, got me out of my comfort zone for sure. Demonstration. How Israelis wait for somebody, you know, they don't have a concept of the zebra to be behind the zebra. They always cross over the line. Is that a metaphor? So, my film review. So it had Stephen Carell I think it is, who is one of my absolute favorite actors in comedies. I loved him in Little Miss Sunshine and other movies as well. Was it Little Stewart, Mr. Stewart? Stuart Little. However, I have to say, God, this is dangerous for a broken hand. And I'm just thinking, the film for me in one way was not realistic, and the other way it did offer, I mean, God forbid, but if you have this problem of drugs, it did offer a good tip that at one point you just break down and you can't help because it's just so painful. And I just thought also the way they try to get him into a program and they lied to him about the recovery, the chances of recovery. And I thought that was quite sad, probably realistic, that when people fall into these addictions, it's really hard to get them out of it, and they could just go in and out of rehab, as we know from Amy Winehouse story. Wow, this is a cool store. Bauhaus Center of Tel Aviv. Well, so it's Chanukah. I won't be able to light a candle with my hand. This is Theodore Herzl. Cool. Anyway, now I know where you can get postcards because somebody asked me once. Anyway, so if you're interested in Bauhaus, this is the place to go. It's the architecture school, and I think Tel Aviv is the most, although I heard Berlin or yeah. Anyway, So, getting back to the film review. Beautiful Boy had this song. I mean, can you not cry when you hear Beautiful Boy? However, I don't know how to say it. I really don't, but the dynamics between Steve Carell and this young actor, I'll give you all the information in another time, or I'll write it down. Or you can look it up, Beautiful Boy. The young guy, amazing acting. I don't know, it didn't work for me. They didn't look like a father and son to me. I don't know why. It just didn't work for me. Maybe it's because they looked so different. And the mother, it didn't work for me. And he said to her at one point the sentence, "You can't save anyone." And I don't know, is that true? You can't save anyone? I'm not so sure about that. I think people can cause each other a lot of pain, and if you can cause destruction, you can also cause the opposite. You can also help a person get better. But with addicts, I think it's a huge problem, because I think drugs are just so dangerous. And I think what we have to know about addictions I have to say I don't have any contact with, never had any contact with drug addicts. However, I do know alcoholics. It's hard to avoid them in Europe. And all I can say about people that are addicted to alcohol, there's no way you can make sense to these people. You can't talk to these people. It's like they say the drug takes over, and the person is not themselves anymore. It's just like they take on the drug is them, speaks from them, and this the way they lie and cheat and do everything to get drugs. I think probably alcohol is the same. Any addiction, which is why I'm so afraid of getting addicted. I'm addicted to dogs. And my children, I really love my children and I miss them. But that's a type of addiction as well. I mean, I wish I could be a Buddhist and not feel anything for anyone. But I think that's part of life. So, yeah. The second movie I saw didn't have subtitles, but maybe if you see it in America, it will have subtitle, or wherever you see it in Europe. It's called Sipur Acher, Another Story. And it just encompasses, it's by Avi Nesher, the director Avi Nesher, who lost his son recently. His son was run over by, was it a drunk driver? Or it wasn't clear what happened there, but he was on a bicycle and he got killed just on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. Tragedy. Beautiful boy, really a beautiful boy. So the connection is, it's also a story. There was also something with drugs in that story, and about religion. And psychologists, they're trying to influence the girl not to marry, she's becoming religious. We say in Chazara B'Tshuva, she's becoming religious. And they're trying to influence her, the family, through her father, who she doesn't have contact with for years, to not rush into a marriage with a religious boy. And they find something about him. Has beautiful music from Natan Goshen. My God, that guy is talented. So I urge you to Google Natan Goshen, Goshen. This is the new Dizengoff square, if you can see it. It used to be up and now it's down. They took down the Agam. It's a beautiful, very impressive fountain, if anybody remembers, and they took it down. And it's like it used to be in the olden times. Right, I'm just going to give you a short walk in there. So what happened is, can't walk without seeing a cute dog. I think guilty about my little dogs. Today's the first day I'm not with them because I've been feeling not so well. So those dogs are so cute. I love dogs. Anyway, I think it's sad that in London, a nation's supposed to be love dogs. You don't see any dogs because dogs don't live in London. They live outside. This is how the British are. Anyway, this is a huge subject. So the movie Sipur Acher, Another Story, is the relationship between the religious girl who became religious and the family that's not religious, and their father is a psychologist and also the grandfather. And they talk about something very important, the child. They said this is what the grandfather is, really a talented actor, Sasson Gabay, who's played also in other international films. He's a very talented guy. He says, you know, there's two children. There's the child that you want and the child that is born. And I think that's true. So deep. And that takes me back to also Chris Watts. There's the child that you want to have, a good person, and then there's the reality, and there's a gap. Because you see the ideal of the child, and in reality, it's something else. I think this is forever. Oh no, it's green. I thought it was never going to change. So that was very deep, and I think that holds true to the first film as well. So I could definitely see a connection between those two films. They were one after another, and I really had an interesting experience. I do not like American films. I thought they were very fake and phony. I was at awe at the beautiful California, just nature there. I mean, sorry what is happening now, but just gorgeous view of Big Sur, and they show, I hope that's how it's pronounced, Big Sur? It's where they have the big waves where they go surfing. I don't know what they did at this fountain. It's empty at the moment. It's so sad. I guess they're going to do something about it soon. Used to be this amazing light and music, and now it's this gray. I don't know. I guess the dog is having a good time there. Definitely it's more social. It used to be a place where there are a lot of I don't know, people, homeless people. Now it seems more social because you can't hide really. Used to be also the traffic went under now. Anyway, so I'm gonna cross the street. So this is what it looks like now. If you've been to Tel Aviv, and it's really hard with one hand because I have a broken hand. This is a full moon, yeah. Just above there. I think it's a full moon, or it looks like it. And so this is it. This, in the future, it's going to be quite beautiful with the trees. At the moment, it's like this. So I wanted to say that I really enjoyed the movies, and I'm really glad they did this film day. They did it, I think, about a month ago as well. I think they do it once a month now, or maybe it was a coincidence. I'm going to sit down. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. But I must say, I don't like Hollywood films. The only thing I liked about Beautiful Boy is the fact that I do think it's probably helpful for people who are dealing with drug addiction in their family. And it said at the end that it's the number one cause of death of young people under the age of 50. That was really tragic. I think it's really hard. In that way, I could see that it had elements of truth, how the father keeps going and saving the boy and saving him, but he just doesn't get it, that you can't really save him. And he says that to the mother. He can't save the boy. Can't save the boy because he's just in these habits, and these habits are really strong. And you know, at the end of the film, you see him in a hospital after he almost overdoses. I'm telling you, spoilers alert, terrible me. But yeah, it's just like the boy almost dies because he doesn't, he calls him, save me.